Riddell has been known as one of the top manufacturers of football helmets since the company was founded back in 1929. Did you know Riddell helmets protected American soldiers in World War II as well? Yeah, it's true. George Patton, the general, contacted the company to make a better M1 helmet. And pretty soon, millions of troops were wearing none other than Riddell technology on their heads. Hey, it's a tradition of innovation that continues to this day.
Riddell tests helmets all day, every day. I mean, that's what we do. We get up, we evaluate different technologies, different design techniques, different engineering techniques for creating the best head protection possible.
It's a team effort when it comes to helmets at Riddell Sports Group. The equipment testing facility in Des Plaines oversees research and development, while the 347,000 square foot space outside of Cleveland puts it all together for players of every level.
The helmet will go into our paint room, gets painted, the primer coat, 2 coats of color and a clear coat. Helmet dries for 24 hours. At that time, then it will begin to be assembled. We'll attach all the hardware, we'll Velcro the interior part of the helmet. The helmet gets built to the customer specification, install the jaw pads, chin strap, and then the last step is a quality inspection before it goes into shipping.
3rd down and 6. Cobb in trouble, gets rolled. Oh, big hit. Oh, what a hit. Look out.
Head injuries have always grabbed headlines when it comes to football, and as the science improves, so do Riddell's helmets. The 2019 release of Diamond technology has 3D printed liner pads and requires a 3D player head scan for the perfect fit.
We are able to take and download the head scan, align it to his head within the helmet, so that we can later digitally cut his liner system.
The interior liner system is designed to attenuate the forces of impact on field, to offer the best protection possible to keep those forces from getting to the player's head. You have to meet with the player, you have to collect the head scan, you have to do engineering work on the head scan, create the liner system, assemble the helmet. So, you know, a player might have to wait a few weeks for their helmet, but in the end, we think it's absolutely worth it.
To know that what we do here is protecting the athletes out on the field, anywhere from the Pop Warner level, all the way up to the NFL stars. Whether it's even in a Super Bowl game, we had a piece of that. They really do have a connection to the game, and they can make a tremendous impact on what they do every day.
Obviously, plenty of focus on concussions in all levels of football the last few years, and rightly so. My question for you guys: are companies like Riddell and the sport of football doing enough to protect football players?
Okay, so when I was first starting out in my journalism career, I started out in Colorado Springs, and one of the first stories I covered was a Pee-wee league and how they were going about making sure that they were tackling right. And it came from the coach, and he said the best soundbite I got from that whole entire interview was, it starts with technique. And that's what they hammered home every single day during this little clinic for tiny kids. And he said that it doesn't matter what you do, it all comes down to technique. So yes, I think that the league, I think that companies are trying to make the equipment more safe, but it all comes down to how these kids are taught.
I was a senior executive with the Arena Football League for a number of years, and we would constantly have folks coming in and trying to, sell us impact sensors, trying to sell us different technologies for new helmets, and I would have to meet with not only the helmet manufacturers, but we'd have medical professionals come in. It always came back to the helmet improvements are worthwhile, but there's nothing you can do to stop the brain from rattling around inside the skull. So none of this will cure concussions, but is medical science improving? Is equipment improving? All those things are being done, and I believe that legitimate effort is being put in to try to make the game as safe as possible. It's a game that I love. It's a game that's done a lot for me. It's a game that I hope people continue to play, and I believe they will, but there are certain things that the body is just not meant to do and be safe.
But Anthony, fewer and fewer kids are playing the game of football. You're a father. Your son just celebrated his second birthday.
Yeah.
Happy birthday to him.
Yeah.
Would you let your son play the game of football when he's old enough?
I would, and it's a debate my wife and I haven't really had to get all the way into yet because he's only 2. But my wife's seen me go through so many things, you know, between having concussions in the past, all the orthopedic issues I've suffered over the years. She wouldn't be excited about my son playing football. I do know that with certainty. But if he wants to play the game, it's not a direction I'll push him in. I want him to compete in sports. Doesn't have to be football, but for me personally, yes, I will have more knowledge about the risks of the sport than I did while I played it, and I'll feel comfortable with him doing it.